Right. Kind of like next week I want to move on to something else. It's still around the same area, but I kind of want to move on from side control a little bit. So we're just going to throw at you lots of options from side control today. So we talked about like how we like to hold and control this position, right? I like to get like that pressure into the floating ribs, pushing in. And one of my favorite grips to have from this position is this grip behind the neck here, like this. Again, for a similar reason, like when I take this gi out and pass it underneath, if he starts turning in towards me, I can like use the forearm to like smash him back in this direction. I can also use this nicely for like a transition up to like a knee on belly and already have the hand inside the gi ready to start attacking the chokes. But when you put that hand inside the gi like this, one of the chokes that immediately jumps out at you is a Canto Choke. So some of you might have heard or done that one before. It's one of my favorite ones. Often I'll get it, but if not, I'll be able to set up other submissions off of it. So we've got the hand already on the inside. When I feel like I'm ready to go, if we want the follow-up submission, I need to be over the top of this arm. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll bring my knee in and I'll come underneath the armpit like this. If I'm just going for the canto and I'm not worried about the follow-up, I'll just step over the top. But we are going to teach the follow-up today. So I'm going to just slide my knee back and I just bring it underneath the armpit and then step over the top. What I'm aiming for is, because my hand is low, I want my leg to be high so that we get that counter. If I put my leg here, we just end up like just squeezing on the neck. I want a bit of crank too. So as I start pulling on this, it kind of like bends his head over and into the choke at the same time. So I step over the top and I start to drag the foot back at the same time as I straighten into the neck and finish. Okay? So similar to what we did with the ninja choke the other day, just like straighten the arm and like push the wrist into the neck. If that doesn't quite come on, oh sorry man, I just little nose tap there. If that doesn't come on, we can transfer. So I take the hand out, lift up the head, lean forwards, and I can go into this triangle, side triangle choke. If you can grab the arm, pull the arm towards, and then we're going to lock and squeeze to finish. If we can't quite get that, this arm is always here for me to start attacking, wrist locks and such as well. So, from the side control, we make the initial grip. Here, I just change my body a little bit to the side. If you can slide that knee and just pull his arm up high, it gives you that second option. If his arm's being a problem, another option that we can do is we can look to try to staple the arm and then step over the top. Now it takes that arm completely out of play and we can just go straight for the canto. But it doesn't give us the follow-up like side triangle position. If I bring the knee underneath, I step over, got the canto. If that's not quite there, go to the back of the head, lean forwards, lock up. So the one that's gone underneath the head, I put that underneath my far leg and then just start to pull the legs in, squeeze and finish. All right, so let's start with that little combo, the Canto Choke, then that side triangle from top side control. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Okay, so putting again together what we're looking for here. So I control, I've gone to step over the top, and one thing that you will get a lot here is this arm trying to push the leg off. So as he goes to push the leg off, I come underneath, and because this arm is like in this position where he's pushed the leg off, and my body is open for where it was for the Canto Choke, it leads nicely into coming straight through for the Americana. So the Americana, like fairly fundamental submissions. We're not going to go into too much detail on them because I want you to really think about the series or the link between the techniques. So the first one, Americana, I put his pinky on the floor and then draw his elbow down, lift the elbow to finish. One of the most common responses from here is he'll start straightening his arm. Now, again, like you'll see a lot of people like do this where they've got their arm straight out from the shoulder. You can probably finish it there, but it's a lot of effort with this lower arm because you see his hands already touching the floor. What I want you to think about is as he starts to straighten his arm, let his arm flow up to, it's like 45-degree angle. So it lifts his arm off the floor, so there's plenty of scope for me to basically break his arm. And also it makes sure, because when we get to about here, not always is his arm fully rotated into the correct thumb position. When I rotate it up to here, now I know that I push and it's tight. So we go Americana, he starts to straighten his arm. Instead of stopping here, let it rotate up to this 45-degree angle and finish. He'll turn his thumb down quite often in this position. So now we're going to switch the arms. So this one comes under, and we can lock into the Kimura position. So when we go Kimura, I need to drop off of his body a little bit, because right now I can't finish the Kimura because the floor's in the way. So I'm going to do a little switch of the hips to make sure he can't build up his base. I'm going to put my leg over the top of his head, and then we just start to turn the hand behind the back for the finish. And this is a nice little series that you can just work between. So if he panics and starts straightening his arm again, we go up, we finish the straight arm lock. If he continues to turn it, and we switch, and we just stay in control, and we can go back and back, and you can practice that little series. So off of the Canto Choke. Doesn't have to be off the Canto Choke, it's just what we're working on, right? That arm becomes exposed. So I step over, he tries to push it off, the arm's in the air, we go straight into that Kimura lock. Americana. 1, he straightens. 2, he bends it down. We stay in control, nice and lock in. So for this variation, my elbow's going to touch the floor. Switch the hips, leg over the top, and finish. I want to show you just one more variation of that Kimura as well. So sometimes that will be if, like, he grabs a belt down here, and I can't quite get my elbow and get everything into the right position for it. So what we're going to do is a power Kimura. So we're going to lock it up, but I can't quite get the arm away to start thinking about finishing for the normal Kimura. So the goal here is that this arm that's on his wrist is going to go under his elbow. This hand is going to shoot through and grab hold of my own tricep here, and then pull in nice and tight. Sometimes we can do the same finish. So I'll switch the legs, start to turn it behind for the finish. But this really comes on tight when I move my body around and block his shoulder with my hip. So I start to move around and I sit my hip down on his shoulder. Now we start to lift and turn for the finish. Okay, so just that one more time. So we're under, we've got to the Kimura position, we're trying to finish, maybe he's keeping hold of the belt and just being awkward. So this inside arm stays there, here. This one shoots under the elbow. We're basically looking to try to get his wrist into the crook of my elbow here. Hold onto my elbow, hold onto my tricep. Pull the elbows in tight. Then, like I said, we could finish it the traditional way, or we move around, we drop our hip down into the shoulder and just start to lift and turn for the finish. So I know a lot there, but that little series of Americana, straight arm lock, Kimura is always a worthwhile series to know. And when your partner's being awkward and not letting you finish, that power Kimura is the one. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, let's go.